Hi guys, welcome to the 8th video of the Golang Restaurant Management Backend Project series. In this video, we'll continue our work. We are done with get food and create food and controllers, these two functions. In our menu, we are done with get menus function. So now, what we can work on right now is the get menu and create menu functions, which are going to be very similar to get food and create food. But a few changes will be there, because when we're creating a food item, we have to check if that menu exists, because we add a food item to a menu, right? So we have to pass the menu ID. So that's why we're checking if the menu exists before we add the food item. Now that doesn't need to be done for create menu. So now there are two ways. One is if we can copy these two functions directly here to menu controller and then make those changes, which may lead to a lot of mistakes. And the second option is to type everything out on our own, which again can take some time, right? Which we don't want. So we'll do a hybrid kind of an approach where so the get food function definitely we'll copy and paste it here and we'll make the changes. And the create food, which we want to copy into create menu, some of it we'll write and some of it we'll copy, all right? So we'll have a hybrid approach so that we save time also. And we also don't end up making a lot of mistakes by copying pasting too much, all right? So let's get started. So let me copy all of this and paste it here. All right, so we have something to start with. Now, definitely it won't be food ID here, it'll be menu ID. After models, it won't be food, it will be a menu model. And here, instead of food ID, it'll be menu ID out here and menu ID out here as well. And we'll decode, it'll be menu instead of food, right? And here in the error, we'll write fetching the menu. And what you want to return from here is menu. And that's why this variable will also be menu, which you want to return from this function. So you control an S and it'll get all the things for you, like database and models, all those things. And you also have your menu collection here, right? And here, instead of food ID, obviously you want to have menu ID, right? So we'll say menu ID. And now all the squiggly lines have gone away, and that tells us that this function is kind of safe, right? So within a couple of seconds, not couple of seconds, like couple of minutes, we were able to write our function by copying and pasting from there. Now create menu function, right? This function, we'll copy a few details, but we'll also type some things on our own. So this part is going to be the same, right? So we'll copy and paste this line here, all right? And before that, you'll create a variable called menu, which will be of type models dot menu, all right? And now let's look here. So this part also we need, so we'll copy and paste this. So this is like a hybrid approach where you copy and paste and also not make mistakes at the same time. So here we want menu here, and rest of everything else is same. Now comes the validation part. We want to validate as well, so we'll validate, and also we want the validation error. So we'll copy this whole validation part here, copy and paste. And the struct we want to compare for validation is menu, all right? So even that's done. Now directly we want to skip this whole part, right? Because we don't want to find the menu ID for the food item. So we can just copy and paste this, because we have created at and update at. We'll copy and paste that. Here just replace food with menu. Now I'll give you a lot of squiggly lines for time, but don't worry about it, because once we save this file, it will resolve that, it will import those files, right? Now we want this food ID as well for the menu ID, and this also we need. So we'll copy and paste these 2 lines as well. So instead of food ID, we need menu ID, and here instead of food, we'll write menu with capital M, and here we'll write menu.id.hex. So far so good. Now all we want to do is we want to insert one into the menu collection. So this part I'll just type on my own. So I'll say menu collection dot insert one. You pass ctx here. As soon as you pass ctx here, the squiggly line goes away, and you say dot menu. By mistake there are double brackets, which I don't need. And this I can capture in my result, and I'll have an insert error that will come if the item does not get inserted into my menu collection. And I'll check for insert error. If it's not equal to nil, I'll have fmt.sprintf. Sorry, wrong spelling. I'll say menu item was not created, and I'll return http.status internal server error, gen.h error message. All right, and you'll return from this function. At the end, you'll say defer cancel. You want this to run at the end of the function. And if everything goes well, you want to say http.status OK, and you want to send the result. And you want to say again defer cancel. So you save now. It was supposed to get the time package as well. Something seems to be wrong here. Let me check. So this time these 2 lines I copied from this function, right? So it seems it's an error here as well. I'm getting squiggly lines here as well, right? So I have found the issue. It's that this bracket should not have ended here. This bracket should have ended at the end. Similarly here as well. It shouldn't end here, but at the end. So food controller, those lines go away. Here also just remove it from here and add it at the end of the program, and end of the line, sorry. So that issue is gone. All right, and so far we don't have any issues with our menu controller file. So now what we can do is we can work on update menu function, and that update menu function we can also use for our update food function as well. So let's get started. So now for update menu, we'll create an update object, a variable called update object that we'll use to basically later on send to MongoDB to update the database. In that update object, we need to have all the different things that a menu has, right? So we need to have start date, end date, the name of the menu, category, updated at, right? All these different things, which you can also access by just going to models and menu, right? All these different things, start date, end date, category, created at, updated at. So all of these things the updated object has to have with the new values, and then we'll send the updated object, and we'll call the MongoDB function update1 to update that record, right? So let's get started. So there are a few things that we need to do in this function, right? So we'll work a little quickly since I've explained to you what we need to do. So I'll work a little fast. Now this line is going to be the same, ctx comma cancel, and here you'll say context dot with timeout, context dot background, and comma 100 multiplied by time dot second. Then we'll create a variable called menu, which will be models.menu. So as of now, we're going in this direction, right? There's nothing changed here. Then we definitely want this whole part, right? So let's copy and paste that part as well. So till now everything is all right, everything is working. Now comes the part where we need to make some changes, right? So firstly, we need the ID of the menu item that needs to change. So we'll say menu ID is equal to c.param menu ID. Take a variable called filter bson.m menu ID. This filter we'll use in a while, don't worry about it. And I told you about the update object, which is of type primitive.d. Okay, this update object is the one that we'll append everything to it and then we'll send it, right? We'll append all these different values to it and then we'll send it to MongoDB. So firstly, we need to check if this menu data that you've sent, right? This whole data that you just sent from JSON, from like let's say Postman, if this has a start date and it has an end date, right? Then we'll create a function called in time span, and I'll work with you on that. And we'll access menu start date comma menu dot end date comma time dot now, where n is capital. And here we'll say kindly retype time, since you have not sent the time properly, so please send it back to us. We're just checking all these values, right? Like I showed you, just checking if these two values are there in the menu data that you've just sent from the front end. Otherwise we'll say kindly retype the time. And we obviously need to send the error if you have not sent us this time, this date data, right? End date, start date data. And here we'll say error as message for cancel and return. And your update object that you've just created, sorry, we'll append to it the start date. Menu dot start date. We'll also append end date to it. bson.e end date comma menu dot end date. So here we'll have menu dot name not equal to empty, update object is equal to append update object comma bson.e name comma menu dot name. Right, so we need name also and we need category also. These two we have taken care of. We've taken care of name also right now. Now we'll take care of category. Take care of category, we'll just copy and paste this again here and just replace this with category. Here I've made a mistake, it should be menu, and here will be menu dot category. Now we'll work with updated at So we'll say menu dot updated underscore at time dot parse, and this part you can actually copy from here, this whole thing. Don't have to type it again. Okay, and update object, you will append that as well. So we'll say bson.e updated at comma menu dot updated underscore at, and upsert equal to true. Options dot update options upsert ampersand upsert. So we'll pass filter and options and all those just different things to update one function. So here we'll say menu dot collection dot update one context comma filter comma bson.t, inside that dollar set comma update object comma ampersand options. Right, so you've sent options, filter, context, and the object that we want to, the update object that we want to set or change this record with. All right, so if you worked with MongoDB, you have worked with Mongo update one function, you know all these options that already exist for us. Here you'll have result comma error, all right. Here the only mistake I've made, that should have been a round bracket, and I'll just come and change it out here as well. So now everything looks good, and now we'll check for error. So if error not equal to nil, we'll say message is equal to menu update failed c.json. We'll say http dot status internal server error comma gen.h error and message deferred cancel c.json http dot status okay comma result. Let's put a comma here. So far this looks good. A couple of squiggly lines here that we'll figure out why they're coming. Yeah, so it shouldn't be menu dot collection, it's actually menu collection. So that line has gone away now. And this one we'll have to figure out later on why it's happening. But everything else is working perfectly fine, right? And you need this function called endtime span. Now I'm running slightly short on time, so we'll have to stop here. We're done with our update menu function completely, except for this quick line and the endtime span function that we'll take care of. But the menu controller file is almost completely complete. In the next video, we'll work on get foods function. This function we'll work on, and we'll also complete the update food function, which will be based on the update menu function. So we'll do a lot of copy pasting. And similarly for these other functions, we'll do a lot of copy pasting because it's more or less the same. And sign up login you've already seen in the JWT authentication project series. So I'll copy and paste a lot of code from there. So we'll kind of save a lot of time. All right. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next episode.